Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I did this, but I'm going to do a reading of my second book. It is called The POE, means Protectors of Earth, and A Walking Nightmare. All right, here we go. After what feels like driving miles, Christopher also drives underneath bridges and through dirt roads. No wonder why no one can find this place. It's all the way out in the middle of nowhere. Jacob points out the obvious, but still truth nonetheless. We can't have just anybody stumbling onto what we do here, besides the fact that I like the silence. Matthew adds, as Christopher takes a turn and they all see a building big enough to be a castle. Is there a lot of students here? Not as many as you would think. Christopher stops the car at a gate that is connected to concrete tunnel, and it appears that it is the only in or out of the university's property. He has to punch in a passcode that is on the wall right in front of the gate, and then the gate opens, allowing them to enter. They haven't changed things since before our time. It's like the supernatural beings are evolving or something. Even Gabriel is beginning to worry. Christopher finally parks the car right in front of the door. After everybody exits, he hands a valet his car keys so he may drive it to the parking lot to the left of the building, and then they begin to walk up a small flight of concrete steps. Now that worries me, only because I have never seen or heard about Gabriel worry about anything. Rebecca retorts as she enters the front door along with everybody else. It worries me too, Rebecca, but you know how Gabriel is. If it's confidential, it takes him a lot of convincing. Christopher adds as they turn a corridor and enter a stairwell. What did our parents do for the protectors of Earth? What's top secret? Brittany sounds disappointed and Jacob looks the same way as she sounds. Since both of you are their kids, I am positive that he will tell you something. Rebecca assures Brittany and Jacob. Besides the fact that he never puts Christopher and I on any missions, and then he tells us to go fetch you three. Matthew adds, we're back and we brought back what you requested. Christopher enters Gabriel's office first and sits down, followed by everybody else. I'm happy to see you didn't have any problems. Gabriel looks upon Jacob and Brittany like they are two small pieces to a very large puzzle. Not getting here, no, we didn't have any problems. But we do, Jacob replies, but he is cut off before he can finish. Now, since I have you two willing to learn the craft, just like your parents, I would like to give you a piece of advice. Learn as much as you can, and do not take any supernatural being for granted. Gabriel hands Jacob and Brittany each a folder with some papers in it and a key that is inside a small bag, stapled to the folder with a number sketched into the key. What is this stuff? Jacob asked. He and Brittany came here to get some of their questions answered, not to become residents here at the school. It is a key to your room and all of your class schedules, including what your first mission will include. An agent or student always gets a folder of what they should do next. So don't be alarmed. Go by what your folders instruct and follow your team leader's wisdom. And I'm sure that you will be fine. You two are your parents' children. What do you want me to do? Rebecca asked. Now that the Eastern headmaster has been killed, she really does not have a mission to keep her busy. Honestly, get comfortable. Maybe take an advanced class while you are here. Really? I am more valuable out there hunting. I agree. But for the first time, because I don't have any important missions, you are more valuable to me on standby and rested. But on another note, before you leave, I believe your grandfather gave you something to give to me before he died. Yes, he did. Here you go. Rebecca hands Gabriel a blue briefcase. He places it right beside him, and nothing more is said about it. All of you are now excused, and I will notify all of you once Balthazar, Victor, and his dead wife resurfaces. Gabriel puts all of his attention now on his computer monitor. So knowing now that they can leave, Christopher and Matthew storm out the door first because they have classes in a little while and they both have to set up their own separate classrooms. Rebecca then exits the office door, followed by Jacob and Brittany. Would you like me to show you your rooms? I'm headed in that direction anyways. Rebecca begins to walk to the dormitory. Could you also help us find these classes? Jacob hands Rebecca both his and Brittany's schedules. Why not? Apparently I'm going to take a class anyway. She takes both of the folders off of Jacob and begins skimming through them. They have you both in the same classes and your rooms are right next to each other. Rebecca stops at a door and then hands the folders back to their owners. Jacob, you are here, and Brittany is right next door to the left. Are you coming with us when we go down for our classes? Brittany asks. Your first class doesn't start for another hour. And yes, you will see me before that. And I will escort both of you down. Rebecca walks away and heads towards her own room. We will see you in about an hour. Jacob grabs Brittany's hand and gives her a very passionate kiss upon her lips. He backs away a couple of inches, looks upon her face, and sees that she is a little surprised, but yet very satisfied. Yes, you will. Brittany replies, feeling like she is floating. They both then enter the separate rooms so that they can get ready for their classes in less than an hour. 50 minutes go by until Jacob hears a knock upon his door. Already knowing who it is, he answers it, to see Rebecca and Brittany looking right back at him. Are you ready for your first class? I already know that Brittany is. They both take a look at Brittany, and Jacob sees that she is now wearing all black tight clothes, and she is holding her crossbow over her left shoulder. Not as ready as she is, but yes, I am ready for my first lesson. Jacob exits and closes his door, so they can all walk to their first class into becoming field agents for the Protectors of Earth. Welcome to your first class in Demonology 101. Christopher is standing behind his desk. Where are the rest of the students? Brittany asks as she enters the classroom. She is expecting Rebecca to answer, but she is already gone. I want all my focus to be upon you two, since there is so much for you to learn. So please, take a seat. Christopher invites his two new students aside. We already know a few things about demons. Jacob sits down in an actual comfy chair while Brittany sits right next to him in the front row. I know, but you don't know what you need to know. Class B demons are easy because they're stupid, but all of them that you have to kill were once human. Their souls were taken from their bodies, but their hunger remained. Now, a master demon, like Balthazar, the one you have already met, are very different. I killed Balthazar myself, Jacob proudly admits. He only killed the human he was possessing and sent him back into hell. He is weak and hungry, but he is far from dead. Now how come when I take a zombie's head, they are dead? But now I will have to kill Balthazar again for it to count? Jacob sounds a little frustrated. He was never human. All masters were at one time created by something else. Just like in life, the supernatural has to have a balance to it. So that's why Balthazar is stronger and smarter than any other Class B demon or zombie that we have had to kill. Brittany enters the conversation. Exactly. Now, let's talk about where demons come from and why they exist. Lucifer created the first demon back in the Garden of Eden, and her name is Lilith. And then, when Jehovah ordered Michael to kick Lucifer and her down into the darkness, out of their anger and hate, hell was created as we know it today. And ever since then, humanity has been supplying him and the kind that he created with enough cosmic energy to survive. Was Lilith the only demon that Lucifer created? Jacob and Brittany are intrigued by Christopher's story. She was the only demon that he created before he was trapped in hell. Afterwards, he created Legion, a being whose only purpose is to lead Lucifer's army of darkness. Other than that, every other demon and zombie were once human, or so I have been told. The longer that their soul is in hell, the less humanity that they have inside them, and the more dangerous they become. Was Balthazar ever human? That is the one thing I cannot tell you for sure. By the rules, he should have been human at one time, but the longer that your spirit is in hell, the more darkness takes its place. No demon that we have ever faced wants to be in hell. You still haven't told us why they are here. A demon exists for two reasons. One is to strike fear into living humans to try to make them do good in their lives, or else this is what you become. And two is to serve the archangel Lucifer. Not much of a purpose. No, it's not. But like I said, there's a balance to everything. Crystal grabs two books off the bookcase to the left of his desk, and he hands Jacob and then Brittany each their own separate copies. It's the same book. Jacob reads the title, Demons, Why They Are Here, and What We Can Do About It. That is correct, and I wrote it myself. It is a textbook that you will be studied in this class. By the end of this course, I expect you to be able to tell the difference between zombies, Class B demons, and, of course, Master Demons. Crystal looks at the clock that is on the wall across the room, and he realizes that his time is almost over. The day. Jacob, Brittany, it's time for your class with Matthew. So they gather up their things and stand up out of their seated positions. But I want you both to read chapter 1 and 2 of your textbooks before our next class. Crystal advises. Jacob and Brittany exit one classroom and right into another. But this class is not about sitting and learning through what other people have done. This class is about properly using their weapons. So they both enter the room to see that the same situation in this classroom as it was in Crystal's class. They are the only students. Jacob and Brittany, good to see both of you, and welcome to weapons training. You already know who I am, so I would like you both to choose a weapon that you would like to be trained with this afternoon. Matthew instructs. Jacob and Brittany both turn around at the same time. Some lights flicker on and wide assortment of weapons are on shelves all across the back wall. Jacob grabs a sword, but Brittany already has her weapon in her hand, the one that Rebecca handed her when they first met each other. Jacob turns around, and once again they look upon Matthew with their concentration focused entirely on him and what he will instruct them to do. At the same time, the Springfield Asylum's doctor is sitting at his dining room table eating dinner with his wife, a 14-year-old girl. How was school today, sweetie? The doctor asks his daughter. There's usually no conversation from any of its family at dinner time, and that has to stop. I think that this boy in my class likes me, she answers, as both of her cheeks turn pink. Oh, she's blushing. That is nice, but you shouldn't go around flirting with an ordinary boy. You are a daughter of the finest surgeon in Maryland, so I would advise you to be patient and wait until these boys turn into men. The doctor's wife takes a long sip of a delicious red wine. Don't listen to your mother, honey. I just want you to be happy. The doctor smiles at his only child. His cell phone that is on top of the dining room table and next to his left hand begins to ring. So he grabs the phone and walks into the kitchen to speak with whoever is on the other end. But once he answers it, he does not hear another voice on the other end. All he hears is static. Something tells him that Mrs. Crabtree is out to kill him, especially since he saw on the news that the one nurse that escaped that night from Springfield Mental Hospital with him was killed gruesomely in her home. The police were baffled, and they could not explain how it happened. I knew this day would come eventually, so go ahead and take my life, but please leave my family alone, he whispers to the ghost of Mrs. Crabtree. The lights in the kitchen begin to flicker on and off. The window above the sink opens, and every cupboard door is quickly opened simultaneously. Honey, what is going on out there? The doctor's wife asks from the dining room, but he is too petrified to answer. Blood pours out. Oh, whoops. Skip the line. As his body is torn in half at his waistline, slowly and painfully. Blood pours out of his stomach and onto the floor. As his legs fall onto the floor, he lets out a low and an agonizing sigh as he dies, and then his upper body lands upon the floor as well. Mrs. Crabtree grabs his soul before he is judged by a reaper, and then she exits through the back door of the house with 2 souls attached to her chains. Now, all she has to do is kill a priest, and then Victor, and his soul can move on. Oh my God! The doctor's wife enters the kitchen crying over what just happened to her husband, while the daughter sits in a corner with her head inside her knees, crying over her now dead father. The door gets bashed in from the outside, and Balthazar enters, followed by Victor. The doctor's wife's emotions quickly change from sadness to fear the moment she sees that her home is infected by a demon and a murdering psychopath. The only thing that she can think about at the moment is her daughter. So she jumps over towards her and grabs a hold of her as tight as she can. Where the hell is she? He told me that she was just here. Victor looks at the 2 pieces of the doctor. We must have just missed her. But if you need somebody else to kill, take the doctor's family. Balthazar replies, remember what Lucifer told us. I need to collect more souls because I am that weak. You don't have to remind me. Victor walks over towards the mother and daughter with a sadistic smile upon his face, knowing that he will eventually get some enjoyment out of kidnapping these 2 humans. Kill me. Just let my daughter go. The mother sobs, while her daughter is bawling in her arms. But Victor stalks his prey like a shark, takes out his machete, and slices the mother's head off, and cuts the child's skull into 2. The only thing that I can't stand is the crying. Balthazar steals the 1 soul that he can that is still lingering in the room. Damn shame that your wife took the doctor's soul already. You sure do complain a lot for a demon. Victor puts his machete back into its sheath. But you are lucky that I'm in the mood. He walks out of the house. To do what? Balthazar has to follow him. They go to the closest occupied home. Victor then kicks the door open with his left foot, and enters the home of a family of 4. And they are all comfortably sitting in the living room watching television together. Victor takes out his machete again and chops off the father's head and puts a slice into the side of the mother's head with the same swing. The 2 twin teenage boys are too scared to move. Victor takes that as a weakness and takes both the separate heads with both of his hands, then cracks their little skulls together repeatedly until blood begins to exit out of their ears and noses. He then looks at Balthazar with blood all over his hands and face as all 4 bodies lying around his feet are still on the couch lifeless. Now I remember why I wanted you by my side. Balthazar collects the 4 human souls. Your murderous rampage delights me. I'm only a psychotic murderer because of the protectors of Earth made me into what I am today. Victor sits on 1 spot left on the couch that is not occupied by dead flesh and waits for the field agents of the protectors of Earth to arrive. Well, that is chapter 6. If you like horror, scary stories like I do, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time,